Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the SMSYG Lords podcast. This week's episode could be a lot different from our previous 5 because this week we start our training for the West Island Way, which we'll be doing in April 2025, just as another fundraiser for our trip to Lourdes next year. If you don't know, the West Island Way, it's a 6-day journey where you start in Mulgai and you go through Denon, Inversnaid, Craiglarrick, Bridge of Orchy, Kinlochleven, Fort William, and then we end up in Glasgow after 92 miles. I think I've pronounced all those names right, but somebody will tell me later on if I haven't. To prepare for this, we're going to start walking up CONIC Hill today, and we're going to try and do maybe a monthly, training in a sense, because obviously it's a very hard task to do the West Highlands Way. But I think all the guys who are doing it, we're looking forward to it. It'll be good for your health, good for your mind and stuff like that. And it's good to kind of hang out with your mates. So, but as we go up Conic Hill today, we're talking to different youth group members about, how they're finding the walk at that moment, what they thought about Lourdes, stuff like that. And then just kind of speak about faith in general. Kind of three main things. We'll keep on. It's the only three things that really matter at a point. As long as as long as we're doing okay, as long as we can prove that we can still speak, by speaking about Lourdes, and then obviously just to show, how much of an impact your faith can have on anything you do, whether it's going to Lourdes or it is walking up Conic Hill. Making sure that the faith's still there. Just a couple of things I want to flag up before we go on to Conic Hill. So on Wednesday last week, we had our first meeting on the pilgrimage to 2025, and it was great to see everyone back in the room. There was a lot of youth group members, which I think sometimes you can struggle with trying to get everyone in the one room one night. But I think there was a really good turnout tonight. Great catching up with people over the past month, just seeing what they've been up to and stuff, talking away. We then kind of broke up into it was like unofficial groups, just sat at a table, and then we kind of had a conversation about Lord's moments that we had throughout the week. If you check our previous episode 5, it's only a wee short 5 minutes one, but Maria, Sean, and Lewis all came on, and they gave it 3 different of their own Lord's moments, which were really good, and there were 3 completely different ones, which shows that even though when you go to Lourdes, you can have a completely different experience, but yet you'll have the same outcome in a sense, because everyone had personal things, but when they go over and they can bring it forward in Lourdes, everyone's similar in the sense that they feel an impact. So I think Lourdes is a great advocate for showing how everyone's different, but yet we're also the same when we all follow the one faith in a sense. On a more practical note, we found out that for our dates of travel next year, it's more than likely going to be the 16th of July, which is a Wednesday. I know we usually go on a Friday, but this year Wednesday looks like it's a better choice. And we'll get the option of doing 7 days or 10 days. So my first year last year was through 7 days, but I've got mates who went with me and they've been for 5-6 years, and they all had said they went for 10 days, and they say that 3 days can work quite well if you're really tired, which we were really tired. You kind of get that bit of time to, relax. The sick pilgrims travel back on the 7th day, so there was nothing to wake up to in a sense on those last 3 days. It was just kind of a real relax. So that's a possibility this year, but obviously we'll find out as the year goes on. Even though it's still dead early in the year about fundraising, we've already got our 3 main ones planned. So on the 7th of December, we've got our ladies' lunch, which we do every year, and it's always raises a lot of money, and it's just a good night in general. After that, our next big one will be on the 7th of February, which is, we call it an audience with. So the last one that we done, the one earlier this year, was with Frank McAvenny, and that was a really good night. He was a great talker. There was loads of people in the one room, and it raised a lot of money, so that was really good. We don't know who we got this year, and to like a special guest on it, but we know that it's definitely booked for the 7th of February. And then our third and probably our biggest fundraiser out of them all is a charity ball on the 3rd of May. This is the one where it brings in the most amount of money. It's the one where you show up in your proper suit and tie, and the girls show up in their best dresses and stuff like that. It always raises a lot of money. It's always a really good night in sense of different food to kind of up and singing and dancing, to chatting away to people, to like mixing with different families and stuff like that. And it's just a really good night in general. And it kind of sets us up for the journey, even though it's still a month away. It kind of sets us up for Lourdes. Yeah. For the 3 fundraisers, ticket information and ticket pricing and stuff like that, they'll come out closer to the time, so it'll be on social media and stuff like that. It'll be on the Instagram, we'll get a Facebook account as well, we'll get this account, and we've got a TikTok page as well where you can kind of find information on what we're doing throughout the year. I think if you're wanting information on like where events are and what times are, Facebook's the best place to go. Whereas if you wanted to hear more about, what we're actually doing, this channel's the best for that, or the TikTok page is the best for that, because we'll be able to talk and say to you, this is what we've done, this is how we felt, which I think is really important to get across about our journey to Lourdes, because that's so special in what we do, and who we help and how we help them, So for us, even though it's to help the sick pilgrims, we can be slightly selfish and say it's a big thing for us as well. When we went last year, the impact it had on us was, I could have never guessed the impact it would have had. A quick reminder just to people maybe who have never heard of the group, who have never been to fundraisers or anything like that. Every fundraiser we do, through the group ones, everyone that comes out through the official SMSYG are group fundraisers. So any money that's raised there is basically put into a pot, and that pot is used for the sick pilgrims to travel and where they stay. That's where all that money goes. Outside of that, youth group individuals have to do their own one, like a personal one, but at the same time, any money raised there goes into that same pot. So when you are kind of coming along to fundraisers, know that you are supporting us, but mainly you're supporting the sick pilgrims who you're basically paying for to travel. That's the other final thing that I want to mention. Is we do appreciate that it can be a lot of money, when people say, can you come to a fundraiser this one? We get it's a lot of money. But the one thing I would ask you to do is simply just speak to a youth group member. If you get somebody in your parish or somebody in your family or your friend group who's going and they've organised a fundraiser, just speak to them and ask them, like, what is Lourdes about or how is Lourdes, and I can guarantee you they'll convince you to come along to the fundraiser and to support them as much as you can. Because I keep saying it, but the impact it can have on you as a person is just unbelievable. And the fact that you, as a donator, can help in that way, I would really encourage you to do so. But apart from that, like I said, out in Great and Wednesday nights, the guys, we're looking forward to today, to going up CONIC Hill. I'm sure we'll get loads of different opinions on the walks, on faith and on Lourdes and stuff like that. So make sure you keep listening to that. So here with Eve and Ailey, who they have one of their fundraisers coming up next week.
cheap raffle as well, so you want to come on that?
Not yet. Me and Neely are going to do a
So that. Get us out to this, guys.
yeah, in the comments below. But it's so rewarding now.
Look forward to your fundraiser. I'm guessing you'll put more details about it.
Yeah, it's fancy dress. Well, Halloween dress. Get Planet
October, Friday night, into Clarence.
Keep on, it'll be on social media. I'm trying to
It will be.